2 years ago, Coach Phil Bankston inherited a tradition called the Green Bay Packers. In 1969, he guided the Packers through a year of transition. Men like Forrest Gregg, Willie Davis, and Boyd Dowler were still in the lineup, but the Pack relied heavily on its youth. Fred Carr, number 53, started at linebacker in only his second year. Young Don Horn replaced Bart Starr and led Green Bay to 3 victories in their last 4 games. This, plus an undefeated preseason, gave Bankston and the Packers great hopes for the opening game of 1970. Joe Schmidt and the Detroit Lions were also in transition last year, and they fared better than the Packers. With a traditionally tough defense, the Lions lost only 1 of their last 8 games. Offensively, they boasted an explosive attack with the breakaway running of Mel Farr and Altie Taylor, and the receiving of Charlie Sanders and Earl McCullough. Their rivalry with the Packers is renowned, and last year the Lions edged the Packers out of second place in the Central Division by beating them 16-10 at Green Bay. This year, the division is said to be up for grabs, and the Lions hope to prove that, like the Packers, they too are ready to regain the position they once held as one of pro football's finest teams. Today's crucial confrontation would go a long way in doing so. I'm Jack Whitaker, and this is the NFL Game of the Week, the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. The 64th straight sellout crowd at Green Bay's Lambeau Field greeted the Lions. Quarterback Bill Munson greeted the Packers with a barrage of passes that quickly silenced the Packer backers. First, Munson hit number 85, Eagles cast-off Chuck Hughes, to open the game. Hughes started for the injured Earl McCullough. Then Munson hit number 49, second-year receiver Larry Walton, for another long gain. Munson is fighting for his own job with Greg Landry, and this seemed to give him extra incentive. Number 42, Altie Taylor, took Munson's 3rd straight completion to the Packers' 16. But on 3rd down, the Packers held, and Detroit had to settle for 3 as Earl Mann kicked the first of 4 field goals. The Lions led 3-0. No one could have predicted the fate awaiting Green Bay today, but the ensuing kickoff, misplayed by rookie Ken Ellis, foretold of things to come. The Packers' first series was no worse, yet no better than their next 7. The fruits of their labor would yield absolutely nothing all day long. Linebackers Mike Lucci and Wayne Walker, number 55, contributed much to their demise. But the Packers themselves were heavy donors to their downfall. A bad snap on their first punting situation would set the Lions up on Green Bay's 18. Coach Joe Schmidt is said to have molded the Lions into a well-organized, together team. And on their second series, the Lions showed more. Munson set loose his backs on this drive. Altie Taylor is only in his 2nd year and is destined to be a super runner, instinctively great. Three plays later, marvelous Mel Farr scored, and it was 10-0 Detroit. The Packers' second series was almost aborted on the first play as Bart Starr was nearly intercepted. Again, Green Bay's drive got nowhere. The pattern of the game was developing. Munson would probe with runs and short passes, occasionally go long, and if he had to, he could escape the rush and fend for himself. The first quarter ended, however, with Munson and the Lions failing to score for the first time in the game. It must be more frustrating for a coach than his players, and Phil Bankston was frustrated. In the first quarter, his runners gained the grand sum of 9 yards. Consequently, he was unable to open up an effective air attack. Now into the second quarter, more of the same was about to haunt Bankston and the Packers. The Lions' defense has now been playing as the same 11-man unit for over a year. This, even more than individual talent, seems to be a prerequisite for success with today's complex formations and coverage responsibilities. Their rugged defensive play finally forced a break when Donnie Anderson fumbled. Lucci recovered on the Packer 20. After a penalty, Detroit moved easily downfield. From the 40, Altie Taylor went off left tackle, turned on the afterburners, and sped 34 yards to the 6. On a replay, watch the Lions' left guard, Chuck Walton, pull out and execute a block on Fred Carr, springing Taylor. Only safety Doug Hart's speed saved a touchdown. From here, Munson overthrew his receivers on 2nd and 3rd downs. These were the first such inaccuracies of the game for the 7-year veteran from Utah State. Earl Mann salvaged the drive with a 14-yard field goal. It was now 13-0. The Lions were so far flawless in all phases of the game: offense, defense, and special units. Containing Travis Williams on returns was certainly mandatory, and Detroit did not fail. Series after series expired for Starr and his offense without yielding one first down. His passes were off target, but a strong rush was part of the reason. The other part could be that Bart Starr is truly in his twilight. Meanwhile, Detroit failed to score the rest of the half, squandering numerous opportunities. After Farr got near midfield, Munson barely missed connecting on 3 passes. First, tight end Charlie Sanders, number 88, dropped one. Then a fingertip save by number 48, rookie cornerback Ken Ellis, prevented a touchdown. Finally, Munson overthrew Taylor, flaring out of the backfield with number 53, Carr, shadowing him. Late in the half, the Packers got a big break when Farr fumbled a Munson pass, and Willie Wood recovered for Green Bay. But alas, the saga of Lambeau Field on opening day was by now a predictable soap opera. Incompletion after incompletion, sprinkled with short, meaningless gainers, was to be their fate. Not only would they go first downless, but they were held to the stagnant sum of 27 total yards. Throughout the half, punter Dale Livingston had hard times kicking the ball over 20 yards, and it was a fitting climax to a first-half nightmare. 56,000 Packer partisans now knew, more than ever before, that preseason and regular season were indeed two different worlds. Lions 13, Packers nothing. As the second half began, Green Bay coach Phil Bankston must have found it difficult to believe that this same Packer powerhouse that tore through the preseason schedule had yet to earn a single first down in the game. Surely things would improve for Green Bay. But after Travis Williams took the kickoff 16 yards, one fact became painfully apparent to the Packers. The ferocious Lion defense was for real. Jim Grabowski was running from setback for the first time, and like Donnie Anderson, Perry Williams, and Dave Hampton before him, he could get nowhere on the ground. A repeat of Grabowski's last run from the top showed that number 28, Mike Wager, came up from his safety spot very quickly and made the stop. For the 7th time in the game, Green Bay was forced to punt. They got a break when the ball took a Packer bounce and rolled to the Detroit 30. But the Lion attack, like their defense, wasted no time in reasserting itself. Alty Taylor took a pitch out and added 9 more yards to the 52 he gained in the first half. Taylor was starting today in place of injured Heisman Trophy winner Steve Owens. The next time he carried, Taylor was met hard and forced out of bounds by Fred Carr and Lionel Aldridge. Another look at the play shows it failed despite a beautiful block by Mel Farr on middle linebacker Ray Nitschke. For the first time in years, Joe Schmidt has depth at the running back positions, with Farr, Owens, Taylor, Triplett, and Eddy. Taylor's run brought about a third down situation, and Munson converted the first down by hitting Larry Walton at the right sideline. A repeat shows that Munson was pressured on the play, but still got his pass to Walton, who clearly beat his man, rookie cornerback Ken Ellis, on the down and out. Detroit continued to stay in the air, with Munson going to Farr on 2 successive plays, with little success. Despite the last completion, the Lions were short of the first down, and Earl Mann, an ex-Packer, kicked a field goal from the 43-yard line. Detroit was now ahead 16-0. Any doubts Green Bay might have had that this was not their day were dispelled on their next play. Lem Barney cut in front of his man and raced 40 joyous yards with the football. The all-pro cornerback had put his team out in front, 23-0. On the Packers' first play, Travis Williams took a handoff and got routine yardage. A closer inspection reveals that it was great individual effort on the part of linebacker Paul Neumoff that stopped the run. Neumoff fought off a block by number 68 pulling guard Gail Gillingham to make the tackle. However, on the next play, fortune was not as kind, as Bart Starr combined with Donnie Anderson for Green Bay's first down of the game. The victim was none other than Neumoff, who was beaten by Anderson on a circle pattern out of the backfield. Neumoff made the tackle, but the play covered 25 yards, and the Pack looked like it was on the move. Starr then passed to Carroll Dale on the left flat for another first down. But this was not Green Bay's day. Anderson fumbled a handoff on the next play, and the threat was ended when number 84, Joe Robb, fell on the ball. Detroit had a break, and they lost no time exploiting it. Bill Munson's strategy was simple. He handed the ball to Mel Farr time after time, and Farr pounded his way through Green Bay's pride, their young, rebuilt defensive line. What you are witnessing is a running back at his best. Unfortunately for the Lions, Farr has seldom been healthy enough to run his best. Each year he gets off to a fine start, and then his season is abruptly ended by an injury. After Farr had softened the Packers' defense with the run, Munson stung them with the pass. This one over the middle for 17 yards. The receiver was number 88, 235-pound Charlie Sanders. And this look from the ground shows why many believe he will be the next great tight end in the game. The pass to Sanders ended the third quarter and brought Detroit to the Packers' 10-yard line. Munson went to his huge tight end again, but a great play in the end zone by Doug Hart saved it. So Munson returned to Farr, and he made the 10-yard touchdown burst look easy. A repeat of the score shows a key block by number 76, right tackle Rocky Freitas, allowed Farr to cut back and run free. The Lions led 30-0. When Green Bay got the ball for the first time in the final quarter, it was apparent a 30-point lead had not quelled the Lions' hunger. On first down, Bart Starr was dropped for an 11-yard loss, and on the next two downs, he barely got the ball off at all. The Lion front four was at its finest. They are considered small by pro standards, but they have experience. On the left side is Joe Robb, 11 years, and Alex Karras, 12 years. And on the right are the babies. Both Jerry Rush and Larry Hand are 6-year veterans. These four and their teammates made it a hard day for another old pro. Seldom in his 15 years in the NFL has Bart Starr had a day like this one. He had only 35 yards passing, 25 on one play, and this before a record crowd in enlarged Lambeau Field. The Pac's 5 NFL championships must have seemed far away to Bart Starr today. Detroit's Earl Mann kicked his 4th field goal from the 47-yard line, and the score rose to Detroit 33, Green Bay nothing. The next time Detroit had the ball, Greg Landry was at quarterback and was hauled down for a 5-yard loss by number 70, Rich Moore. But Landry got even on a keeper. He went 76 yards through the middle of the Packer defense. A play this unusual deserves another look. Landry's quarterback sneak was so effective, it got him by a pair of 285-pound tackles. If the Detroit quarterback hadn't been wearing high-top shoes, he probably would have gone all the way, because no one tackled him. With 2 minutes and 41 seconds left in the game, Bill Triplett scored the final touchdown from the 11-yard line. Young Don Horn took over for Green Bay, and immediately the Packer passing attack looked better. Of course, the Lions were in a prevent defense and could well afford to give up easy yardage, leading 40-0 with less than 2 minutes left in the game. Yet Horn is obviously Green Bay's quarterback of the future, and he looks like a good one. He's got a young team behind him, as well as an old tradition of winning. The pack was moving, but so was the clock. Green Bay was about to be handed its first shutout at home since 1949. Today's winners, the Detroit Lions, seem to be finally fulfilling their potential under head coach Joe Schmidt. And this indeed could be their year. They've always had a rugged defense, but if Mel Farr can stay healthy, and with players like Sanders, McCullough, and Munson, and the fine Lion offensive line, it appears the Detroit attack is at last even with the defense. One thing is certain, they'll be tested severely, for the Lions play in football's toughest division, the National Conference's Central. Detroit must play 2 games with the rugged Bears, the champion Vikings, and then in a game that might be the most important of all. In the final week of the season, they meet the Green Bay Packers. 14 weeks won't erase the memory of today's 40-0 game. For the Detroit Lions, the Pack will certainly be back.